Are you looking at the time and working out how many hours you have left to sleep? Perhaps you are thinking, if I fall asleep now, I can still get 5 hours sleep. Tonight, you do not need to keep counting. We are going to take the pressure away from sleep so your mind can stop watching the clock. Hello, my lovely. I'm so glad you're here. I want you to stop checking whether sleep is happening. Shh. You may already feel tired, but part of your mind keeps checking. Am I sleepy yet? Am I beginning to drift? Why am I still awake? And every time you check, you bring yourself back into the room, back into the time, back into the effort, and back to the worry. So, tonight, we are not going to test whether sleep is happening. We are not going to monitor every little change. And we are not going to ask your mind whether it is relaxed enough yet. You can simply be here, awake, listening and resting. All this without needing this moment to become anything else. There's no test to pass tonight. You are allowed to stop measuring the night, to remove the calculations, let me gently take away some of those numbers that may be moving through your thoughts. 5 hours. You do not need that number now. 4 hours and 40 minutes. You do not need that one either. The time you have to wake up that can remain outside this moment. You do not need to calculate how tired you might feel tomorrow. You do not need to predict how difficult the morning may be, and you do not need to begin planning how you will manage a night that has not happened. Right now, you are lying down. You are listening. Nothing else is being asked of you. Rest does not begin only when sleep arrives. Rest can begin when you stop demanding an outcome from yourself. No deadline for sleep, and no countdown. No calculations. Only this quiet moment. Let's take away the watch. It's going to be gently turned away. Not hidden because anything is wrong, simply out of your care. You do not need to supervise the minutes. You do not need to keep track of the night. Time can continue without your attention. The minutes already know how to pass. You do not have to watch them go. Perhaps part of your mind believes that checking the time gives you control, but each new number can become another little alarm, another calculation, another reason to try harder. Sweeping it all away. The night doesn't need to report to you, and you do not need to report back to the night. For now, there is no hour, no deadline, no result, only my voice and these gentle movements somewhere quiet for you to rest. So stop trying to perform sleep. sometimes the effort of sleep, it becomes the very thing keeping the mind involved. You may try to relax correctly. You may listen for signs that your body is becoming heavier. You may not try to think, and then you notice that you are still thinking. My lovely, you do not need to perform for sleep. Sweeping it away. You do not need to prove that you are relaxing. You do not need to show me that this is working. You can listen carefully, or drift in and out. You can keep your eyes open, or you can allow them to close. You can feel peaceful, or still feel a little unsettled. None of that means that you are doing anything wrong. Sleep, it's not an instruction. You have failed to follow. It often comes closer when it no longer is being walked. So tonight we stop watching. We let sleep remain unnoticed. We remove tomorrow's consequence. Moving it away. And perhaps the worry is not only that you are awake now, perhaps your mind has already travelled forward to tomorrow. You imagine waking up tired. You imagine struggling through the morning, and you imagine everything feeling harder, and suddenly being awake now, this begins to feel like a much larger problem. Let me take that imagined morning out of your hands. You are not there. You do not need to experience it now. You do not need to prepare for it. Not from your pillow. This is still only tonight. This room, this moment, this gentle pace. Tomorrow is not asking anything from you yet. And tonight, you are not responsible. to making tomorrow easy. You are only resting here. Let's clear this away from the forehead and your temples. I'm going to work gently around this space now. Not to force your thoughts away, only to give them a little more room. Around this side, where the calculations may gather. And now around this side. This side is where the questions may return. Will I sleep? How long will it take? What if I cannot? Sweeping away each question. Those questions do not require answers tonight. Answering them will not bring sleep closer. So we can leave them unfinished. One question closed for now. Another question closed for now. And another allowed to remain unanswered. You can rest. You can rest inside an unfinished question. Being awake is not an emergency. Being awake does not mean the night is ruined. Being aware of the room does not mean that sleep will not come. Hearing my voice does not mean you are too alert. This moment does not need to become an emergency. You are simply awake for this moment. And then there will be another moment. There is no need to decide what the whole night will become. Your mind may say, oh, this is happening again. But you do not know that yet. Your mind, it may say, I will be awake for hours. But that is only a prediction. Arriving too early. Let's take this away. we can take that prediction away. And that one. And that one too. Because you are here now. And that is all we know. And here you are allowed to rest. Rest, rest. You are allowed to rest without monitoring yourself. When the mind stops demanding sleep, something may begin to change. Not because you have forced it, only because there is less effort, less watching, less measuring, less waiting for a sign that you do not need to inspect. Whether your hands feel heavier, you do not need to check. Whether your breathing has changed, you do not need to monitor. Whether your eyes are becoming tired, let those things happen privately. Let your body rest. Rest without being observed. You do not need to monitor your own relaxation. For this little while, your body can become none of your business. It already knows where it is. It already knows you are lying down. It can do what it needs to do without giving the mind a report. So let's close all those unfinished calculations. Let us remove the unfinished sums. If I sleep now, close and remove. If I wake up then, close and remove. If I only get this much sleep, close and remove. If tomorrow becomes difficult, close and remove. You do not need to finish the calculations. There is no helpful answers hidden inside it. Only more attention. More effort. More wakefulness. So, this calculation can close, and this one can close, and the next one. It doesn't even need to begin. There. The night can be uncounted again. Moving the pressure out of the room. Moving the pressure out. Imagine the pressure to sleep is not part of you. Imagine it's simply sometimes that entered the room. A demand, a deadline, a voice saying, you must sleep now. Sweeping it away, we can move that demand a little further away. Further from the bed, further from your thoughts, and further from this quiet moment. Sleep does not respond well to pressure, but rest is already available. You can rest while awake. You can be still without checking. You can listen without waiting. You can receive these movements without asking what they are doing. Nothing needs to happen next. Just quiet. No counting. No checking. No testing. No trying. Only resting, resting, resting. No predictions. No clock, no clock. No morning yet. Only this. You are not late for sleep. You have not missed your chance. The night has not closed its door. You are simply here before sleep, or perhaps already moving towards it, without needing to know. The question, will I sleep, may return, and that is all right. You do not need to push it away, and you do not need to answer it. You can let it arrive and then remain unfinished. There it is. And there it goes. Will I sleep? Maybe. Maybe not yet. No answer is required. You are not going to follow that or that question or that one towards another calculation. You are not going to follow it towards a clock. No. And you are not going to follow it into tomorrow morning. The question, it can sit quietly without becoming your task. I'm going to stay close just for a little while. You do not need to explain how many difficult nights you have had. You do not need to tell me how tired you already feel. I know that you want rest. And I know you may have been trying very hard. So I am asking you very gently to stop trying for this moment. Let me hold the quiet. Let me keep the pace. And let me move slowly enough that you do not need to decide. You do not need to decide what comes next. One movement, then another, and then nothing for a moment. There is nothing to solve here. Sleep can arrive unnoticed. You do not need to notice the exact moment sleep begins. Sleep often arrives between one thought and another, between one sound and the next, between watching and forgetting to watch. So there is no need to catch it, no need to recognize it, and no need to say, now it is happening. Let it be unnoticed, and let it come quietly without measurements, without a final check. You may never hear the end of this session, and you do not need to know. You don't need to know which word was the last one you heard. Leave your clock turned away. Turned away. The clock is still turned away, and the numbers are outside this moment. Time is still passing without supervision. You do not need to look, even if part of you wants to check. You can leave the question where it is. Not now, because you are forbidden. Only because the number cannot give you what you need. The number cannot make you sleep, and the number cannot comfort you, and the number cannot predict the whole night. So let it remain unseen. Nothing to calculate. Nothing to predict. Nothing to prove. Your mind can become less involved. The night can continue without commentary. One breath does not lead to anywhere. One movement does not need to mean anything. You can remain awake without becoming concerned. And you can become sleepy without noticing. If your mind needed permission to stop watching the clock tonight, you may leave a little purple heart, only if you remember to. Nothing is being asked of you now. For now, let the night remain unmeasured, uncounted, unwatched, quietly continuing, all by itself. Reducing the urgency. The thought, it may still be there. I need to sleep. let us make it a little quieter. I would like you to sleep. I would like to sleep. Quiet, quiet. I can rest here. I can rest here. No demand. No order. No deadline. Only a preference. Becoming softer, 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 and softer, softer, until it no longer needs your attention. The night does not need managing. You have managed enough today, but you do not need to manage the night. You do not need to organize sleep. You do not need to schedule drifting, and you do not need to supervise your thoughts until they become quiet. The night is allowed to be a little untidy. A thought may appear, and a sound may reach you. You may move slightly. None of those things mean that rest has stopped. Rest can include small moments of awareness. The night can include wakefulness and still carry you gently forward. No need to check. No need to know. No need to hurry. You are not behind. You have not missed sleep. You are simply resting before you know what happens next. I'm your quiet companion. I'm still here, my lovely. You do not need to keep listening carefully. My voice can become part of the room. The movements can become something you no longer follow. You can let your attention become loose. Nothing to hold. Nothing to remember. And nothing to wait for. question may still be waiting. What if I am awake later? That question belongs to later, and later, not here. What if tomorrow is difficult? Tomorrow can meet you when tomorrow arrives. And what if this does not work? Nothing has to work. You are already resting. You are already doing less. And you are already no longer watching the clock. That is enough. No more trying. No more trying, no more trying. No more trying. No more counting. No more waiting for sleep to begin. Let the night continue. Let the words become distant. Let the movements blur. Sleep descend. You do not have to hear every word now. You do not have to follow every movement. You do not have to know whether you are awake, almost asleep. No checking. No clock. No morning. Only rest. Tonight is not asking anything from you. Sleep does not need to be chased. You can let it find you quietly when you are no longer looking. Good night.